everybody. This is Apochromatic Unlimited. I realized that I didn't make a spiel for this, but Apochromatic Unlimited is a space by BIPOC, for BIPOC folks, who are in the tabletop RPG sphere and who want to do cool things together. We are focused on elevating and platforming folks. We just came out with a zine, a really cool zine, a really gorgeous zine, issue 0, which you should definitely check out on our itch or our Patreon. Um, you can also support us on Itch or Patreon as you wish. But we are Apochromatic Unlimited, and today we are playing Our Queen Crumbles, which I believe, if I remember correctly, yes, it is by Jason Brown. And I have a couple of content warnings for this stream. I have a couple of things I need to tell you about. But first, we're going to very quickly go around and just intro our players. Starting with Andrew.
Hi, I'm Andrew. I am typically not on live stream. uh,
We're so excited to have you.
so this is my first time. Yeah.
Thank you for being here for this. We're so excited to have you. And where can folks find me on the internet?
Uh, I am at Souza GM on Twitter, and then just Souza GM on Blue Sky, and that's really all the places you can
Perfect.
find me.
Perfect. Love it. Up next, we have Mark.
Oh, hi, it's me, Mark J. What if I just had a stroke right now? I'm just kidding. What's up,
Don't
y'all?
do that.
What's up, lawyers and nerds? Martin J here. Also from Pocketmatic Unlimited. We are very proud to present this like really random ass game that I've never played before. It's not random. A lot of people have played it besides me. I just never played it. I just like to ramble sometimes and hear my own voice. It's really beautiful. Anyway, you can find me at More Than Mary on Twitter and also in the Apocalyptic Zine and also on the Nunshot podcast. Find that podcast wherever fine podcasts are found. But also check out our Patreon too, because Apocalyptic Unlimited has a Patreon, and we love the support. We love the support so we continue to do what we do, which is create zines, create podcasts, articles, games like this. We just love the support from the community. So any bit you can contribute, that's lovely. Thank you. And that's me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I am Leona. You can find me on Twitter at the Leona Maple, also at the same handle on Blue Sky and Instagram and Twitch. And I am your facilitator for today. So this is actually a GMless game, but I have played this a couple of times now, and I love it so much. And I just feel like sometimes with GMless games, having someone who's like there to facilitate it just kind of helps make life easier for everybody. So I'm your master of ceremonies for today, but technically I'm not the like GM for the game. If you get my gist. But with that, let's get into some of this information because, like I said, we're playing Arc Queen Crumbles. Um, like I said, there is also some safety stuff that I do want to touch on, and the players already know some of this, but I'm going to make sure that for you, the viewers at home, that you are also aware. Our Queen Crumbles deals with questions of loyalty, punishment, and the impact of death. You will play as characters watching someone they love slowly fade away. This is a heavy emotional weight to bear. The safety of everyone at the table should be the priority, and absolutely is. And so, players, if you need anything, please feel free to put it in our little Discord group chat. I will have my eyes on it. And if you need anything at all, we can pause, you can take breaks, whatever you need. And if you are an audience member at home who is watching, please also keep this in mind as we are playing. And if you need to step away, take a break from the stream, come back a little later, that's totally okay. And if this, topic doesn't feel like something that you can watch this time, also totally okay. We totally get it. But if you're as hyped as I am, please say hi in the chat, and we'll drop you some love. Now that I've gotten the formal kind of detail out of the way, let's hear a little bit more about this game. So, the conclusion is already in place. You have failed. The queen is dead. Our Queen Crumbles is a collaborative storytelling game about revenge, inevitable death, and saying goodbye to those you love. There's also a game about a group of travelers searching a wild land for the assassin who killed their queen. Normally in this game, you take on the role of the Knight of Whispers, the Gravity Witch, Hangman, the Hangman Automaton, as a former player once edited it for me. and the Bloody Historian, the four most loyal retainers of the once great queen. But there have since been some new retainers added, and so we're gonna play some new retainers this time as well, which is gonna be really cool. I'm very excited for that. We are going to pursue the queen's killer to the tree under the mountain and use what time we have left to say farewell. This is a GMless game for about 2 to 4 players. It usually takes about 2 to 3 hours to play. And we're gonna get into those rules right now. So we begin by reading the story, which I will read for you all. And we will then feel the crushing weight of our failure and accept the inevitable approach of death. Then together we will create our queen by filling out the queen's sheet together. And unfortunately, we're not going to leave it somewhere where everyone can reach it, but I will write all of the information down so that we have access to it. We will give her a look, a mark of royalty, a name, and a sobriquet. Um, but we will not mark any of the other boxes on the queen's tables. Those will get filled in a little later. And then the assassin's sheet is something that we will reference throughout the game because that will be filled in as we track them through Halloway, which is the place that we are located in. And each player chooses a character to play, which we have already done. And then we will, after doing all of this, we will give our characters a name, choose their look, and mark one box of our choice on their trait table. And this represents something that is true about our characters. And more boxes will be filled in as you continue to explore your role on the journey. So, a game of Our Queen Crumbles is broken up into 8 path scenes that occur on your journey to find the assassin. And I don't hold us to that. Um, some groups that I've played with get really into like a location and they get really into the role play. And so we only end up doing like 1 or 2 locations or 3 or 4 locations. So do not feel beholden to that. We
Mm-hmm,
will
mm-hmm.
do as much as we have time for, and then when we're kind of getting close to the end or whenever we feel ready, we'll kind of head to the final scene. And every time that I've done that, it works totally fine. So don't feel like you got to rush through anything or whatever. Like spend as much time in the locales as you wish, and then when we all feel like we're good to go, we can move on to the next thing. So that's an important detail to keep in mind. um, Along the way, uh, you will discover clues about who the assassin is, learn about your character's unique skills and history, and watch as the artificial body housing your queen begins to decay. The first path scene, oh my goodness, I can speak. I just can't read out loud today, apparently, takes place in the lonely city as your party sets off on its quest. After that, you will follow the path shown on page 18, visiting each location on the map until you reach the tree under the mountain where the assassin resides. I don't necessarily follow a specific path. I let us all kind of pick which locations excite us the most because I think that's just more interesting. You may visit the different locations in any order or use the order they are listed in the location section on page 20. So, in that main book, there is a map that you can look at. There's also details about every single location. You just got to scroll past the like character sheets. So, it's kind of at the bottom of the book. But there's a handy dandy little map and a whole bunch of cool location information.
It is dandy.
Yeah, it is dandy. After you have visited all 8 locations, or as many as we get to, on the map, the game will end with a conclusion scene and the determination of each character's fate. This will serve as an epilogue to the journey. Now, Our Queen Crumbles is a mystery game at heart because you begin with only a vague idea of who the assassin is, and you learn more about them as you travel. But unlike other mystery games where players try to solve a predetermined puzzle, this game lets players collaboratively come up with a solution that fits the clues that they find. The true answer to the mystery isn't set in stone until the conclusion of the game. So don't be afraid to make up wild rumors, draw connections between clues, or create intrigue during your journey. And then I will talk more about the path scenes I think when we get there, just to kind of break up the volume of me doing at y'all. Um, I will touch on this though. Playing the queen. The queen is a central part of the party's journey, but no one player exclusively controls the queen. Instead, all players should share the queen's character. Even in a single scene, many people may say what the queen does and speak in her voice. She should feel distant, alien, and sad. This game has a real tone. It's oof, but it's one of those oof games that's very very good. Okay, I'm going to read us the story, so that we can kind of set the scene, and then we will create our queen. I need to take a sip of water before I do so. You were not yet alive the day the assassin came to Halloway, but it is a story you should know. The fate of our people is intertwined with what happened here on that day. When the assassins swept through our city, they left rubble and blood in their wake. No one could stand in their path. Not the city guard, not the Queen's living statue army, and not her Knight of Whispers, fate, or some other kind of magic. Pulled these or some other kind of magic, pulled the assassin past all resistance and into the throne room. It was there that the queen of the lonely city collapsed into a pool of crimson blood at the foot of her throne, with her most loyal retainers crowded around. The Knight of Whispers, the Knight of Whispers, captain of the quickened guard, sat slumped against the stairs, holding the body of the woman they loved in their one remaining hand, sword arm taken by the assassin. Years of training and blind devotion meant nothing when the assassin came. They had failed. The Gravity Witch, head of the Court of Magic, let tears fall from her eyes at the sight of the Queen. The tears hung suspended in the air like diamonds dancing. Every spell she threw at the assassin had slipped, not crushing their body, but flinging them closer to the throne. She had failed. The hangman automaton, the Queen's trustworthy enforcer, stood unmoving in the doorway. Their whole existence was founded on service to the Queen, and now they stood purposeless guard on the woman who had given them life. Their rope could not snap the neck of the guilty party. They had failed. The bloody historian, wise advisor and counsel, pressed bandages against the Queen's wound, but no medical knowledge could draw her back from the brink. They had served the Queen's mother before her, and had promised to always protect the woman who sat on the twin ring throne. They had failed. And with a shuddering breath, the Queen died. It was the Gravity Witch who moved first. She gathered from the throne room a pile of shards and dust, the remains of the quickened guard, the Queen's army of living statues, shattered by the assassin. With quick motions and practiced sounds, she spun the fundamental forces around her will and formed from the shattered stone an amalgam body from the disparate parts. And with a groan, she threw gravity into chaos and drew the soul of the dead queen back from wherever she was meant to go, into the amalgam body. And when the dust settled, there stood in the throne room a new living statue, misshapen and asymmetrical. The queen returned. Yet this was only a temporary solution. The amalgam was not fit to hold a human soul for long, no matter the pull. The Gravity Witch knew that the body would soon begin to decay, and that no power in Halloway could stop what was to come. There was, therefore, only one thing remaining to the Queen: revenge. And that is how our story begins. Let's talk a little bit about the Queen, sovereign of Halloway. As the Queen died, the Gravity Witch used magic to house her soul in the remains of her shattered living statue guard. Her death is held at bay, but there is no avoiding the decay that the stone and soul will experience. Death approaches. So, we have a list of names, looks, marks of royalty, and sobriquets. So, together we get to decide the details of our queen. Some example names include Anne, Antimony, Belle, Lilith, Nell, Marigold, Adelaide, Letizia, Hatshepsut, or something else entirely. What do we want to name our queen? Mm-hmm.
What about Needham?
No, that don't work.
Oh,
I veto that. I'm my life. Thank you very much.
all right. What's a good queen name? What is a good
Yeah,
queen
right.
name?
Also, Mark, suddenly you've gone real quiet for me.
Oh yeah, here we go. There we
There
go.
we go. Ooh,
Sorry.
hello. You're loud. It's okay. I can turn you down.
Yeah.
Our video ninjas. I can turn you down.
Ooh, what's your last from what's Morgan? Not Morgan. Megan?
Megan?
Yeah, Meghan Markle. Queen Meghan Markle.
Oh yeah.
No, I don't want her to die as a golem. No, that's sad. That's too sad.
Do we want to name her Elizabeth?
Liz,
Liz? Is our queen's name Liz?
Beth.
Beth? That's
I don't want the UK to come after us either, though.
I don't think they will.
They got lines and shit.
Some of the other examples here are Masako, Catherine. I'm just throwing examples out. Is there a vibe we're liking?
Andrew, what you thinking?
I don't know. Looking at the list of sample names here. Yeah. Nothing really sings to me.
Yeah.
Um,
What about like Lilith is kind of cool.
Lilith is a move. Yeah.
Yeah. We're good with Lilith. All right. Our queen's name is Lilith.
Queen Lilith.
Queen Lilith. Now, what is her look? Is she marbled alabaster, bright copper, glowing porcelain, oxidized bronze, polished wood, bone, deep red terracotta, or something else entirely? What does she look like?
So, the idea of like oxidized bronze statue soldiers seems really cool, but because I think just going back to the gravity witch using the like remains of the statue guard, I think like the idea of like the bronze statue guard seems pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, she looks like oxidized bronze.
And this is her as a construct, right?
Yes. This
Okay.
is her as a
Wow.
construct, like
That's
because
freaking-
she's already died, and we brought her back and we put her into it. So it's like, what does she look like now that she's a construct, right?
Wow.
That the gravity witch made for us.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Now, what is her mark of royalty? A splintered crown, a gilded amulet, a broken blade, a staff full of stars, a heavy gauntlet, a glass signet ring, or something else?
I'm gonna go with something a little bit different, maybe. I think it's like her eyes.
Her eyes are her mark of royalty.
Yeah. It's like something that's passed down to the line, and as it's like, okay, you're clearly this family because you have like these really special eyes. So maybe she has like bright purple eyes or something. And when they knew it was her in the construct because like the eyes change colors.
I love that.
That
Now
is really cool.
Now I low-key regret that I didn't pick the princess playbook because that would have been cool. I'm sold on the one that I picked, but there's also like a princess playbook, like a daughter of the queen. I'm now just like, oh, that's delicious. That's delicious. I love that. But I like the one that I picked, so it's fine. And lastly, we gotta pick a sobriquet. Is she Lilith, the Lady of Feathers, the Hand of Wrath, the Iron Protector, Queen of Mist, Moss, and Morning, heir to the Lost Reach, our Blessed Engine, the Sibyl's seventh daughter, or something else?
Ooh, okay.
Right? Aren't they cool? Like all these cool titles.
It's like, yeah, what kind of queen was she? What was she like?
Right?
Kind of benevolent? Was she like bellicose? Was she like warlike? Was she
Yeah, you get to figure all of this out now.
just starving her people while she ate all day and just did Pilates?
A Pilates queen.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are we thinking? What's our vibe?
Being cat attacked.
You being attacked back? Aww. I had to make sure to kick mine out. I was like, go away. Because otherwise I would be cat attacked too.
Yeah.
Let's use that. Queen of the
Queen Keeper of Cats.
Yo, go for it.
Yeah.
Alright. Queen Keeper of Cats.
Queen of the Keeper of Cats.
Yeah, she liked her cat. She was a cat lady. Alright. Now we know a little bit about our queen. Step 2. We don't gotta worry about the assassin sheet for a little bit just yet, so we will skip past that. But I will read some of the stuff at the top of the sheet just so that folks can hear it. The assassin, the fateful blade. Little is known about the assassin who killed the queen. They did not make their agenda clear. Still, many people have noticed a mysterious figure traveling through Holloway following the Queen's death. Only one thing about the assassin is certain: they came from the tree under the mountain. And there's a number of rumors, and we can make up our own even about the assassin. But all we know is that they came from the tree under the mountain, and that's probably where we're gonna head. All right. Now, we all picked a character to play. Um, who would like to go first, and we can build your character together?
Um, I'll go.
Yeah. All
That way
right.
we can keep the same order flow here.
Yeah, sure. That sounds great.
Uh,
Which playbook did you pick again? The
I
Crimson
picked
Emissary?
the Crimson Emissary.
Hell yeah. Master of Espionage and Intelligence. Do you want to read out those two paragraphs, or would you like me to?
I can read it.
Go for it. Yeah.
Um, the Crimson Emissary began as a thief who tried to steal from the castle, but when they were caught, the Queen's mother decided to hire them instead of hang them. They have spent many years as the spy master of Holloway and know more about the shadowy goings on, conspiracies, and mundane gossip of the land than anyone else in the Queendom. The emissary should have known about the assassination before it happened. They should have known the assassin's name the moment they entered the lonely city. They should have stopped this, but they have failed. The only thing the emissary can do now is follow the threads of treachery, pull on the strings until they find revenge.
So good. All right. What is your Crimson Emissary's name?
Uh, when I was looking at this yesterday, for some reason, Lark just sounded like the spy master's name.
Yeah, I love it. All right, you are Lark. And
Yeah.
what is your look?
Um. So I guess this is a weird, just like interesting thought process, but
Mhm.
I thought of the idea of like decorated due
Mm.
to like the idea of like being starting off as a thief and then like you know that you can't really show the things you've stolen off as like achievements,
Yeah.
and like so they don't have anything that was like for them during that time as a like here's my this is what I do type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think now being in a position where they're like a known quantity and they don't have to like hide what they do, uh that like this like idea of like pins and things of like
Mm-hmm.
these are things I've achieved and done, and like I just like that idea.
Absolutely. I love that. That's so cool. All right, so they are decorated. And I believe the next thing, so you pick the name, the look, and then you mark one box of your choice on their trait table. This represents something that is true about your character. And I believe there's two traits that are already ticked off.
Yes.
All right, what are
uh
those two traits?
Loves the queen and experienced information gatherer and spy with many connections.
I love it. Cool. Go ahead and pick one more.
uh, hmm,
I know it's a big list.
dude. uh, I don't know why, but knows how to break magical locks sounds very useful.
That's great. I love it. All right. Perfect. That, I believe, is your character ready to go. Okay. Next up, Mark. Who are you playing?
I am going to play the Knight of Whispers, the once loyal protector of the Queen.
Yeah.
The Knight of Witches grew up hand in hand with the Queen. When they came of age, their friendship turned into duty, and the Knight was assigned to the head of their guard. Despite their difference in station, the Knight always harbored a romantic love for the Queen.
Ooh.
I was gonna be related to the queen until I read that last sentence. So we are not related
I mean,
anymore.
if you want to modify it so that you were like uh you were related and like that was where that kind of like it was a more familial love rather than romantic, you can do that if you want.
I don't
You
mind
don't have to
romantic
modify.
love. Romantic love, I feel like, is more vengeful. It's more angry,
Yeah,
especially
for sure.
unrequited love. It's
Yeah.
like the what if is always
Hmm.
haunting me.
Absolutely. I'm down. All right. What name would you like to give to your
For
character?
names, I'm gonna go easy peasy. Dante. I like
Dante. Oh,
Dante.
Dante's good.
Simple, off the menu. Don't mind at all.
Yeah.
And now I am,
What's your look?
I am burdened.
Oh,
I am burdened.
whew.
I failed the queen. I was right there. I
Yeah.
was literally disarmed, like your homie from that cool Dragon Girl movie. I can't remember what it's called right now. Anyway, Nimona, Ramona. Anyway, moving on.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I just don't know the name. Yeah. So you have two traits already marked on your sheet. What are those two traits?
I loved the queen, loves the queen, and I also lost an arm to the assassin.
Absolutely. And pick one more.
I am. I speak to goats wherever they reside.
Hell yeah, that's a cool one. All right. That is two of our three characters done, and that leaves me, I believe. So I decided to play the sacrificial Karkadan, the last desert doctor. The Karkadat were once a noble clan of dust knights and glassmiths who resided deep in the heart of the Silicate Rose Desert. They were known for their chivalry and were marked by the horns that grew where most humans have noses, a result of eating the fragrant desert sands uniquely harvested from around their village. 12 years ago, the clan was wiped out by an unknown magical event that occurred at the Prism, leaving only one survivor, the sacrificial Karkadan. The Karkadan was a young woman trained in the art of desert healing. She was rescued by the queen, who happened to be traveling through the desert on a pilgrimage, and quickly became an integral part of the royal retinue. And I think my character's name, just based off of the amazing options on the list, is gonna be Amala, because that's a real pretty name. And I think her look um, is gonna be. Ooh, I'm torn between silken and glassy. I feel like the Silken Rose Desert feels like a glassy place, so I think she looks glassy.
Mm,
That's cool.
it's better than Ash. Better than Ashy.
Yeah, right. Well, definitely better than Ashy. She moisturizes, okay? No ashiness here. And then her two traits that come pre-selected are that she is the last surviving member of the Karkata clan, and that
Mm.
she is trained in desert medicine. And I get to pick one more, and I think she. And there's so many good options. Um, knows how to pinpoint nerves for healing or harming.
Oh, gotcha.
Right?
Yeah.
Really cool. Yeah, really cool options.
And when you find those nerds, you throw them in the locker and steal their
No
lunch money.
nerves, like nerves in your nervous system.
Oh, okay, cool.
Not
Got-
nerds. She
Knows how
doesn't
to
bully.
find
She does
nerds.
not bully nerds.
Picks them out in the crowd.
she, she who's that character from Avatar? I forget her name. But she's
All
like
of them.
that girl who like pokes at the nervous system and like does that kind of wild stuff.
Xena, Warrior Princess, is the only one who can really think of who does that effectively.
She was an Avatar.
She,
I think that's how that worked.
I don't know.
Don't know if that's how that worked. But yeah, all right. So we have our characters. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-dum. Now that we have our characters, I'm going to talk us through how path scenes work. Path scenes are short sessions of collaborative storytelling framed by a specific location. Each scene is led by the active player who describes the setting and starting situation. The active player role is passed around the table in any order, making sure every player has the opportunity to be the active player the same number of times. Each path scene follows these steps. Determine the location for the scene. The first scene takes place at the Lonely City, and following scenes take place at any unvisited location on the path, which is on page 18. The step two, the active player reads the location's description and selects a backdrop for the scene, which is where the scene begins. They then answer the question associated with the location and describe what the party is doing at the beginning of the scene. They also mark a box on the queen's decay table and describe how
Hmm.
she has continued to fade from life. Everyone participates in the scene, describing what their character does and speaking in their voice. During the scene, every player may mark up to two boxes on their trait table or item tables and incorporate them into the scene. So if you
Okay.
look at your sheet, there's like we've all got items like special things that we can use and traits. This is a great way to introduce a new NPC, create conflict, or learn something about the assassin. The goal of every scene is to track the assassin. So once you are satisfied, mark a box on the assassin's rumor table and narrate how you discovered it. So as we're role playing these scenes, it might be helpful to take a quick peek at like the assassin's rumor table and like see if there's one that you're like aiming for. But sometimes it just comes up organically too. Finally, each player should mark the next box on the path tracker. Don't worry about that. Um, we will go to the conclusion scene when we ourselves are ready to do it. We do not need to track that. So, to summarize, we will all take turns being the active player. And other than the first location, we get to pick a location, whichever one excites us the most. The active player then reads the location's description. You pick a backdrop, you answer the question, and we get to determine how the queen is decaying. And then we all roleplay, and that's how you play the game. It's that simple. Okay. If you both want, I'm happy to be the active player for the first one, so that y'all can get a feel for it. Or if we want to continue to go in the order that we've been going, we can do that too.
I'd be down if you start, and then we get a
Happy to.
rhythm
Yeah.
going. Yeah.
Absolutely happy to.
Hmm.
Perfect. Let me scroll. I gotta go all the way down. So many pages. So we are going to start in the Lonely City. Uh, the Lonely City is the capital of Halloway, seat of power for the Queen. The Lonely City was built on the shore of an endless ocean, which freezes over in the winter. The city itself is dominated by marble buildings housing the institutions of the Queendom: the castle, the Court of Magic, and the Sibyl's Cathedral. During the warmer parts of the year, the city is surrounded by fields of the silver grain Halloway is known for. The question is, what season is it when you leave on your journey? What is the mood of the city following the assassin's attack? And then there's a couple of backdrop options, which is the throne room, the Hierophant Gate Bridge, and the Sibyl's Mausoleum. I think I'm going to set us in the Sibyl's Mausoleum. I feel like it has
Hmm.
been a day.
Oh shit.
I feel like it's been a day, like a day has passed, like all of this stuff has happened, and our queen um has clearly been assassinated, and now she is in this oxidized bronze body, and we were all just like, oh my god, what do we do? I think my character, being the kind of like medicinal type of person that she is, definitely tried to like find solutions and was like, no, there's nothing I can do. Um, so everyone decided that going after the assassin was the only option left to us, and that we would gather first thing. I feel like this assassination happened like late at night or something, like it was just like awful timing. So we said, all right, first thing in the morning, we're all gonna meet at the Sibyl's Mausoleum. Um, because then we've had a moment to like prepare ourselves. We've packed our bags as quickly as we can. We're all ready. The city itself has heard about the assassin's attack. Um, and because our queen was the queen keeper of cats, um, I feel as though as we depart, the city has taken um to like tending to the cats. Like any stray cat that's found has like found a home now. Like there's not a stray
Oh,
cat to be seen in all of Alloway. Like the city is upset, and they are doing the thing that they feel would make their queen happy, which is tending to any cats that they find. And I think as maybe as we are about to depart, like any citizens that like come to see our retinue leave the lonely city, maybe they like carry their cats with them so the cats can come see too. Like I don't know.
in
Maybe
my
that's too much.
in my head, it's kind of like Turkey. There's parts of Turkey where there's like cats roaming everywhere, and they just hang out at the
Yeah,
cafes and on the roofs and all that kind of stuff.
yeah,
So I kind of feel that,
absolutely.
and everyone's like adopted a cat for the day, I guess,
Uh-oh.
for the time being.
Mark froze.
Oh, did I? Don't know. Yeah, I sure did. Oh, I think Leona froze. Can you still hear me, Andrew?
Ah, you're
Am I
back.
back? Okay,
I think you're
weird.
back. Oh, you were in the middle of saying I think that everyone had adopted a cat.
Everyone had adopted a cat for in this period of mourning. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah, very cool. Love it. Okay, so that is all of those details. And I believe the last thing that is left to do, I'm going to scroll back up just to make sure that I didn't miss anything. Pages and pages and pages. Description, backdrop, question, decay table. So we're going to look at the Queen's decay table. There's a bunch of different options here. I think we'll go gentle for the first one. I'm gonna start at the very top of the decay table, but we do not have to. But I'm gonna start us off gentle. The queen's body has begun to sprout cracks. So that like that's that first sign of like, oh no, this is not gonna last. That oxidized bronze, but now that metal, that bronze is starting to like crack a little bit. There's a couple cracks like here and there, and it's not quite as composed as it was the day before, the night before. So that is kind of where things are at. Is the queen is starting to crack a little bit, and we are in the lonely city. We have gathered at the not the citadel. I lost the word. The
Sybil's mausoleum.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that is where we are. I think my character, Amala, is kind of like pacing thoughtfully as she waits for everyone else to arrive. Who arrives first of the two of you?
I think my character would. I think Dante would.
Yeah.
And Dante would see Amala pacing up and down, and almost like walk right past you and right towards some of the grave sites because I picked the one where I can talk to ghosts. And
Oh!
I would definitely give you a nod, but you would just see Dante just start talking to themselves. You probably don't know what the hell's going on, but he's just talking to himself while facing the grave. He's like questioning, like, did you see something? Do you know something? What happened? Did you see anything? Did you see anything? It looks like
Oh
he's
my gosh.
kind of lost their damn mind.
Oh wow. And so you don't think anybody else like knows that Dante has this ability?
Well, you tell me. I'm not gonna put that on
It's up to
anybody.
you. It's your character. Totally up to you.
I think everybody knows Dante talks to himself, but nobody's really
Okay.
quite sure what that means.
Gotcha.
Probably only the queen really knows or believes it,
Mm,
Yeah.
since we're so close.
makes sense. All right.
Uh, I think that my character is probably like was lingering kind of outside and around the building, um, checking in with like random people that they have like stationed across to make sure that like this meeting is safe, uh,
Ooh.
because they had sort of the you know failure that just happened the night before,
Mm-hmm.
and so kind of going over everything with everyone to make sure that we're all like safe in this mausoleum, and then they would come in and ask if this was everyone, um, so that they know whether or not anyone else needs to be let in.
I am afraid this is indeed everyone, Lark. Um, the others cannot join us, but I promise that I will keep us safe. Um, I have been practicing my fighting techniques for a while now, and if we find this assassin, I don't know what I will do, but I promise he will not harm anyone, except we will harm them potentially.
Dante turns around like, you you think you have what it takes to kill the assassin? Look at me. I lost some arm last night. I barely survived. Do you think you have what it takes?
Molly kind of pauses and thinks, and she goes, "I suppose you're right. I mean, the assassin was very formidable, but I have to give it a shot. I mean, this is about revenge after all."
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I guess we don't really have much choice, do we?
Yeah, exactly.
Agreed.
But I'm glad that we're going together. I think we'll make a good team.
That remains to be seen, but I'm sorry. I'm just really, for really distraught.
I I I understand.
It was my job to protect her. My whole life was dedicated to her, and the assassin brushed me aside like a child.
It's it's not your fault. I was looking through some old books, and I I I realized something about the assassin. I think oh gosh, where is it? I just saw it. Um in one of my old books there was a prophecy about a person of shadow who prays to the Prince of Death. And I think the assassin prays to the Prince of Death. And that is what made them so powerful. So it's not your fault. And that, by the way, is a rumor that I had picked for this scene that I just slid in there.
Yeah. I actually just went back to the rumors and was looking at them.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you don't have to slip them in like that fast, but I was like, it just felt like the right moment. So I was
Yeah.
like,
That's
I know that's not much comfort, Dante, but I hope it provides you some comfort.
It it does, knowing that this was such a formidable opponent. I just wish there was more we could have done.
I agree. But we can track them down and maybe we can get some answers.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
Answers in their head.
Yes.
And my prayer is that we can get the job done before the queen passes. At least she'll know that she was avenged.
And she'll be with us all the way. And you see uh if I may, you see the queen arrive at the mausoleum on a palanquin. She is being carried by attendants, and they are going to carry her for us everywhere. I just think that's a cool detail. She can also walk if she wants, but I think I like the idea of like her like being led out of the city like on a palanquin, like being carried so that like her people can see her. Like, I don't know, that just feels
Mm.
very like it feels very queen like. I don't she would feel like she would like walk out of her own city, you know?
So do the people know she's this uh, statue? She's this construct?
Yes, the news broke as soon as it happened.
Mm. So that was like over the table. So everyone,
Oh,
the whole kingdom knows that her soul is now in this construct.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or we can assume that they haven't, and this is how they're gonna find out. They just know that something bad has happened. Totally up to you.
There's a part of me that was like, she's in this palanquin and it's veiled, and so she can speak through it and speak to her people. Like everyone knows she's injured or hurt, but maybe like, oh, maybe she's back.
Right.
But they can't see her. She's only veiled, and they just see like her shadow inside the palanquin. But that's just me.
Oh, my feels. I love it.
That does seem really cool.
Yeah. So like only her
Listen.
the close people know what's really happening.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, amazing. Okay, so the palanquin arrives and it's got these kind of like gauzy fabrics, like curtains almost, kind of like on all the sides, so that just the outline of her can be seen. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
That'd be
and
awesome.
yeah, Lark, I'm very glad that you are joining us and that you've made arrangements for our security. I believe your
Yes.
your experience has brought is good. Whew, let's try that sentence again. Your history has a lot of good wisdom that I feel will be useful for us in our journey.
Yes. In my former work before this position, being caught or found was equivalent to death. And I feel we're in a similar situation.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think that'll make you an excellent tracker too for the assassin, since if being caught or found is certain death, then we want to catch this one, right?
Yes.
Okay.
We'll need someone like you, like, who knows the shadows to find this assassin, certainly.
Uh, I think as you say that, Lark kind of like pulls a note out of his like coat
Ooh.
and just holds it out to like the shadows behind him, and then it like hands off to someone and disappears.
Wow.
I have to keep the gears moving at all times, but I am glad that we are together.
Me too. And I think as we start to kind of gear up and get ready, you see Amala pull on uh, a bladed velvet cape, and it's clear that she knows how to use it.
Mm.
Like this girl is like half healer, half like I will hurt you. Like, so yeah, you see her kind of pull very carefully pull this out and like throw it on, and she's like, "Okay, I'm ready now."
You see Dante start to very clumsily adjust sword belt, adjust the satchel over his shoulder. He's not used to doing things with one arm yet. It's all very clumsy. It's all very. He's captain of the guard, so he has squires and whatnot to assist him get his gear on. But it's just someone who's really not sure what to do with their body and not what to do with themselves yet, because it's a lot to just take on all at once.
Mm-hmm. I think. Oh, go ahead.
I think I think Lark takes a moment, um, as sort of over the table to say, first before, uh, there is also the question of the season as one of the other questions for this location,
Oh,
and I thought that it like summer would be really interesting to do here, um, and then I had something sort of that tied into that if everyone was okay with it being summer.
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm down.
So I think Lark has like a moment of just looking down at like one of his like many like decorations that he has on his coat. Uh, but this particular one is like two different things, and he sort of clicks them together and like pins it to his coat, and it's the symbol of the god of many summers.
Mm.
Uh,
Ooh.
and he's sort of like taken aback, I think, in this moment, feeling like summer is like attributed to like rejoicing, like lots of things are
Mm.
happening and going on, and the grain comes back, and so typically people are like really happy when summer comes. It's like a vibrant, like great mood, and I think like having that moment to say, "Ah, it's summer," and like look what's happened. you
Mm.
know.
That's very good. Okay.
But the particular trait on the character thing here is raised as a follower of the god of many summers, but hasn't practiced since childhood.
Mm.
So I think you both would know that like he's never worn this symbol before this moment.
Ah, interesting.
It is that the god of many summers?
Yes, a person who helped me when I was younger in terms of getting places to rest and food, often told me to look to him in times of need.
Hmm. If you're ever gonna need that kind of god, now was the time, more than ever.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
It's just interesting that for lack of a better term, a spy master like yourself would fall back into faith. Usually, you types, excuse my language, go after facts and knowledge, things that are substantial. But for someone like you to fall back on faith, these are tough times.
Yes.
Mm. Mark, were you able to pick a trait or an item to incorporate in the scene?
Oh, do I get one more?
Did you pick one
I'm gonna pick it
for the scene?
now.
Yeah, do it. Yeah, everybody gets to pick a thing.
Okay. Yeah. You are going to see a. You're gonna see Dante pull out of a satchel very awkwardly a long black object. Stick with me here. Uh, it's a very it's a jet black cigar, and Dante very shakily puts it to their mouth, and you see his shoulder move as if he's trying to find he's trying to reach his arm that isn't there for something, and one of his squires comes up with a match and helps him light the cigar. And Dante takes a few puffs of it, a few thick puffs, starts coughing. I got this. I got this from the Queen when I was but a boy. We found a box of her father's cigars, and we got in some big trouble. But she managed to steal one more and gave me this. And I think in her honor, I'd like to
Aw.
smoke it. And I do so with the full knowledge that we may not come back from this adventure. You might as well, right?
Might as well. Now sounds like the perfect time.
But fuck, this tastes horrible.
All right. How do we feel about ending scene there and picking our next destination?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Who wants to go next?
So let me pull up these destinations real quick. Okay, I'm gonna pick one if I may.
Yeah.
I am going to choose the Druid's Court.
Oh, yes.
The one thing we knew about the assassin was that they were able to fend off a lot of magic, as well as people who could fight. So, um, yeah.
Yeah. Go for it.
Also, I'm kind of aware there's some Prince of Death people out there too. So the Druid's Court is the land beyond the river. Is regarded as Holloway's true wilderness. A number of years ago, during the Queen's grandmother's reign, a group of disaffected nobles fled here from a lonely city. They swore oaths to the Fey Crown and established their own Druid's Court. Though they hold a grudge against the queendom, travel is still permitted, if a bit rare. Be careful in these woods. It is said that the Fey spirits are more than happy to pull you into their fevered dream feasts. And so the question that remains for this area is, how does the party plan on getting through the court safely? And are they recognized, or are their identities a secret? Ooh. I think, I think our plan was to use Lark's kind of underground organization to maybe come up with some good disguises, maybe get us in the middle of a group of merchants, to make us look like merchants or farmers, just kind of common folk. Definitely trying not to make ourselves known at all. And so that's our plan. We're just disguised as merchants trying to get to the court as safely as possible. Hopefully, we are not recognized. Our identities are a secret. Yeah.
Okay.
And the background for this will be a hideaway. So, as this group of people that we knew broke off from the Queen's Court and went to the Druid's Court to find their own little civilization, these are the people that we're looking for. This group of nobles is a group we're looking for. This little hideaway, it's a secret place where it's rumored that the worshippers of the Prince of Death are often traveling through or hidden.
Whoa.
So that's where we are headed.
Okay. Now you got one more thing to do. We gotta figure out how the queen is decaying.
Let me find that bad boy here. Queen. Where are you, the queen? What if I use bookmarks? That'd be so cool.
Right?
All right, here we go. The queen's footsteps curse the ground she walks on.
Whew. So, does the queen start walking, or is this why she like keeps getting put back in the palanquin?
I think this is why she's put in the palanquin.
Ah.
I think maybe, if I may, the queen decides to make a trip to this fake kingdom for political reasons, and we are there secretly to find this assassin. So she's still in the Palanquin to be there officially. We're low key in it, and that's why she's still in the Palanquin basically. But yeah, if she gets out and walks around, literally, probably the fake court will turn against her because they're like, "Why are you cursing our beautiful kingdom?" What's up with that?
Wow. Yeah. So we're kind of like pretending like everything's fine.
We're trying to. We're trying to.
Ah, all right. Very cool.
We break away and head deep, deep into the forest. It takes us a while, but eventually we are able to find one of the outposts of this community that we believe prays to the Prince of Death. The outpost is pretty much from the outside. It looks barren. It looks like there's a bunch of uh, cottages, wooden homes, thatched roofs um, that are just seem abandoned. But very, very, if you look very subtly, we're able to see that there's markers of life and people living there, and that's the kind of place we approach as we're looking for these clues.
Ooh, very cool.
I think that as we head in that direction, still kind of dressed in our disguises, we're greeted with just a volley of arrows that surround us, and basically they're demanding we stop. And one of the representatives, for lack of a better term, comes and greets us, kind of grills us, shakes us down, wonders what we're doing. And I think we're able to convince them, I hope we're able to convince them, that we are just there to trade.
Yeah, we are here with we are the Queen's retinue. We are here for good reason. Um, hmm.
Um, hmm.
Do you think like we hear the Queen speak and she like kind of like settles the matter so that we can kind of get into this hideaway? Like it's you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Interesting. Interesting. And now we're in so we can kind of like, stealthily be snoopy and sneaky and figure out what we can find out about an assassin maybe. Hmm.
Uh, hmm. So I have a trait that says friend and ally to a small group of rebel fae,
Ooh.
but I've never visited the fae court. Uh, I think in like once we get in and we're like not in a situation where like we're you know in danger,
Mhm.
uh, that Lark sort of breaks away from the group for a moment and tries to find this friend and
Hmm.
sort of asks them about the you know Prince of Death because they're not actually familiar with it at all. Uh, they they have like the general like information of that people worship the Prince of Death,
Hmm.
but not really like any information about how like that functions in society.
Do you mention the assassin?
I don't think I do to this particular person. I think I am sort of like, hey, we've traveled a long way looking for someone to speak to about worshippers of the Prince of Death. We're looking for a particular one. And just knowing more about the Prince of Death would be helpful. Uh,
Hmm.
and I think the huh, yeah, I think I sort of just try to gather information on the Prince of Death, what that means. And I think like something that would be interesting is that like maybe these uh, worshippers of the Prince of Death only travel at like night,
Hmm.
um, which feeds me into one of the rumors that so we've established that the person prays to the Prince of Death and then they only travel at night, avoiding the sunlight. Because I think that that's kind of like that's a thing.
Yeah.
Ties those together. And I
Very
think I
cool.
could, yeah,
Absolutely. And so that's is that would you say that's like the information that you find out?
yeah.
Okay. I love it. Hmm. I wonder.
I think Lark comes back to the group and it's like very quietly to the two of you. Uh, I believe the person we're looking for travels at night. It is common for those who worship the Prince of Death to
Hmm.
avoid the sunlight.
Oh, how interesting. It kind of makes sense now why the assassin attacked at night then.
Yes.
Ah.
But this does bring about the question of where they stopped. Because night passed and the sun rose again.
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't have gotten too far because it was very late into the night.
Well, that means that they must be close by somewhere. I'm sure we'll catch them soon.
Yes. This hope.
So where might they hide then? I think that I think that in this place because it's a hideaway. I think they may have stopped here, and we search around and we do find basically what appears to be like there's like a breakout bag that's kind of ransacked. There's a bunch of
Mm.
wine bottles. There's evidence that something or somebody's here, and we're kind of we're almost sure it might have been the assassins. Just we just have well no. How about this? I can talk to ghosts,
Yeah.
and one of the ghosts lets me know like the assassin that you're looking for was here in the night.
I think I think as you're talking to the ghost, Lark is sort of like hovering in like that general area. Is is it some sort of fairy or uh, like do you worship a god? Who is it that you speak to? I've never asked this question, but if we're going to travel together, it is a little important for me to know who it is you're talking to.
It's it was a well kept secret, but since we're to die anyway, I speak to the dead, and they speak with me. Those ghosts that linger, they have a lot of stories to tell.
Interesting.
Indeed, that is very interesting. Hmm.
Yeah, it's not that interesting. They say dead men tell no tales, but these guys never shut up. Honestly, it's actually hard to get information out of them because they're like, oh, or back in my day, da 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 da. I'm like, okay, I understand, grandfather. You know, call him grandfather, but
Well, Dante, if I may, to me, such a thing would be so valuable. As you know, I'm the last Karkadan ever.
That's right.
And perhaps if we survive, you and I could go back to the Silicate Rose Desert. Or perhaps on this journey we'll go to the Silicate Rose Desert. And perhaps you can tell me things from the people that I have lost. Might be nice.
Are you sure that's something you want?
Hmm.
Sometimes it's best to say farewell and move on.
You know, now that you mention it, and Amala starts to look very conflicted, and she's just kind of like, I'm honestly not sure.
I only ask because you're not the first person who's asked that of me.
Hmm.
Who's asked to have conversation with the ghosts of their relatives, and they don't always go as planned.
Hmm. Hmm. I will. I will give it some thought. Thank you. That is very wise of you. Hmm. Out of character, I will just remind you that you can pick up to two things from the traits and other tables. So if there's anything else that you want to incorporate, you absolutely can. Every location, you get
Oh
two
yes,
things that
okay.
you can pick. Yeah. So that's why I'm like, do I want to pull something out? I have my special thing is like a pharmacopoeia. Like I have like this like pharmaceuticals as well as
Mm-hmm.
my satchel and my traits. So I'm just like, oh, what do I want to pull out? Oh, I know. One of the traits is for my character is that she has a reputation for compassion among the people of Holloway, and is often sought out for help. So I think, um, as we are talking, um, someone comes in looking for Amala, and they said, "Are you the desert doctor?" And she'd be like, "Yes." And she'd be like, "Uh, oh, please, we need help." And Amala nods and immediately grabs her like medical bag, and she's like, "I'll be back. I'm gonna just go help a few people." And as she's leaving, she kind of like pauses by Dante, and she goes, "I know that losing an arm can be a troublesome time. If there is anything I can do to help support you, or anything I can give you for any pain you may be having, just let me know, okay?"
If that's the case, then I'll take whatever you can get to get me through this journey. The pain is almost unbearable.
And she looks in her pharmacopoeia, and let's see, she pulls out uh, 3 ampules of Wonderwill's finest therapeutic. Because that's vague enough.
Okay, love
Because
it, love
that's
it.
vague enough. The rest of them are a little bit more specific, but that one's vague enough where she will pull that out and she will go, "These should help. I only have 3 doses of them, unfortunately, but it is a therapeutic and it should help ease the pain and give you clarity when you need it."
Very well. I appreciate it. Thank you. And it's a ampule, right? You said.
Yes.
Oh yeah. I chug it down.
All
Running
right.
as fast as I can.
Awesome. Perfect. Uh, and with that, Amala leaves and she goes to tend to some folk that need medical help. She's got her little skills. Then she will come back to the group when once she's done. Have we all been able to do a thing? Oh, Mark, go ahead.
I my apologies, especially to you, Lark. I didn't tell the full story. There was a battle years ago. I almost died. I survived, of course, because here I am. But after the battle, I spoke with the Prince of Death. He came to me, or so I believe, as I was in and out of consciousness. And that's when I think I received this curse to talk with the dead.
Mm.
Interesting.
So you can see why I might keep that a secret.
Yes.
And you can see why, in some way, I feel responsible for this assassination. Having gotten that off my chest, I do feel lighter. So thank you all for listening.
May it weigh on your conscience no more.
And Dante, you see him move his shoulder forward. He looks down where his arm used to be. He was trying to shake hands, but he reaches out with his left hand for a fist bump instead.
Aw.
Yeah. Lark fist bumps him back.
So that was my two things: the lingering wound and the spoke with the Prince of Death after a gruesome battle.
Ooh.
And thankfully you're a healer, so you dealt with that lingering wound.
Yeah.
I think, interestingly, Lark is, after gathering the information, kind of just gathering random herbs and roots that are here in like this area, and putting them in like a little like sachet, and just sort of, tumbling around here to see if there's stuff that he can gather.
Mm.
And he just gathers up some herbs and roots while everyone is doing stuff, and that'll be my second trait. Knows how to make a poison out of common herbs and roots.
Hell yeah.
And sort of being in this like lush druid area gives him access to like a bunch of things that he can use for that.
Love it. Okay, is that scene?
I reckon so.
Yeah. How are we doing? Are we ready for a break, like a little stretch break?
Yeah.
We want to keep going. We've been at it for a hot second. Should we take 5 minutes?
Yeah.
5 or 10 minutes?
Let's do that.
All right. Yeah. We're gonna take a very brief break, and we will be back very shortly for the second half of our Queen Crumbles, where we are going to find out more about our assassin and maybe get some revenge. We'll be back in a bit.
Wait, we won't be back in a bit.
What?
No, hold on.
I'm still learning.